Good morning, guys. We're talking about price guide or price lies this morning. The number one industry complaint that fair trading gets. There's been a big crackdown. We're going to talk about it. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Good morning, Billy.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. Hot topic. Hot topic.
Yeah. This
One
breaks
that
people's hearts, right?
it's just, you're absolutely playing with people's emotions. And I just can't even think of a week that goes by where I don't have this conversation with a buyer that's missed out on a property. There's some notorious misquoters in the market, in our market. I actually had a vendor contact me a few weeks ago. She was interviewing 3 agents, and the agent told her word for word what the strategy would be. We're going to get the guy down low, going to get all the buyers through the door. And I was like, wow, gosh, if he's being that dishonest with you right now when he's trying to sign you up, I'm not sure how that's going to work for you throughout the campaign. What do you reckon, Billy?
Yeah, it's I guess a topic that comes up a lot at open homes as well. You've got buyers that they're transacting on property every 10, 20 years. So it's not like they're having the conversations regularly as an agent or someone from within the industry. And it changes from state to state and country to country. So, what might be relevant here in New South Wales may not be the case everywhere. And so where someone's used to one way, where they may have purchased or sold a property before, could be totally different. And so it's hard to get the educational side of it across to people if they haven't actually had just a really good conversation about price guides in general. But you're absolutely right. Notoriously, I think the industry's got a rap for just pricing guides really low and then watching them sell $100,000-$200,000 more, sometimes more, because it's a 10% range on the price.
And breaking people's heart. And I know it changes state to state, as you mentioned, Billy. We're talking about here in New South Wales with price guides. I know there was a massive crackdown. There is a massive crackdown from fair trading. It is the number one complaint that they receive, underquoting price guides or price lies, as we're talking about this morning. I'm sure it's up in Queensland, and any Queensland agents that are watching, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you have guides. And that was often a conversation as well. Well, do we just get rid of guides altogether? Is that the way forward? And then I know down in Victoria, they're bringing in that auction reserve prices need to be revealed 1 week prior to the auction reserve prices to be revealed 1 week prior. It's incredible. But if the guide is nowhere near the seller's real expectations, that's not strategy. That's complete misalignment. And it is a big waste of buyers' time where emotions just get completely manipulated and it erodes trust. I've dealt with clients that have come through my open homes and they're like, oh my goodness, I keep missing out. And I was thinking to myself, you never had a chance. Like, that guide was just not right. There's actually a listing that's online at the moment, and it's for an apartment in DY. Now, God help us if that agent doesn't actually understand the opinion of value of a property in DY. This is an apartment. And the guide is so low. And the only reason that it set alarm bells off for me is I'm actually selling something quite similar. And my guide's right on point. I'm actually just about to exchange it today. But that apartment is almost the replica of the one that I'm selling. And the guides are just miles apart. I'm like, how are you actually even getting away with this? But why would you want to? Because all you're doing at the end of the day is just giving yourself a bad name, breaking people's hearts and giving yourself a bad name.
Well, let's actually understand where the changes came from, because you would have operated and sold a lot of property under the previous pricing structure of offers over. Like, that was in place up until 2015, 2016. So there never used to be a price guide at all. It used to just be offers over.
Yeah, that was just as I was actually coming into sales, Billy, where they had the offers over. And for anyone who doesn't know what that means, it literally is exactly that, like offers over $1.5 million. And we could then take any offers over that. But, that created a huge amount of underquoting. So Fair Trading got rid of that and they replaced that with the word guide. Which I'm not certain is much better when, as I said, I saw this listing yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. It came in sort of into effect 1st of January 2016. Fair Trading's opinion was that with an estimated selling price given to the owners of a 10% range, again, we'll use 1 million to 1.1 as the example, that would then be the estimated selling price given to the buyers, and a price guide would then form a 10% from the bottom end of the number online. Generally, it's not the other way around. You don't see a price guide of 1.1 and it sells for 1 million. It tends to be the other way around. With a 10% range. And look, we appreciate it's pretty wide goalposts. $100,000 is a lot of money to anyone, but you
Yeah.
can start to read the play and get an idea where it may come together.
And look, we can't control what a property sells for. I mean, that is the truth, but we must amend our guides accordingly. For instance, if I've brought an apartment to market and I'm guiding $1 million on it, but I'm getting offers, as an example, and I'm getting offers that are coming in at 1.2 million, we must adjust our price guides accordingly. And this is where, and look, most agents do the right thing. That is the reality. There are the notorious, the serial underquoters. I mean, we see them. There's times when we've seen, as I said, I had an example yesterday, we've seen guides in our office and, that we've looked at it within our office, but from another agency. And we're like, seriously, how are they even guiding that? Like, that is totally misguiding people. I had a client who came to me a couple of weeks ago. They were looking at attending an auction for a house. They were buying their first house. And they're like, this is the guide. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. Let me put together where I feel it sits in the market for you. And there was a disparity there of about 400,000. The property went to auction and it sold for about $600,000 above where they were guiding.
Yeah.
Right. So the guide was never accurate to begin with.
Yeah. And I think if you're going to try and put yourself in a position to buy a property, how can you determine whether the guide's realistic or not? Well, obviously, it's a good question to ask the agent. Does the vendor have any expectations around the price or settlement terms? And then forming and educating yourself on what else is sold in the building, what else is sold on the street. We are fortunate. There's so much information online now. You can actually become quite a savvy consumer. But there will be an agent or two that you build a good rapport with as you're looking through different properties, and it may not even be a property that's for sale with them, but you can just ask them if you've got that relationship, what do you think this one's worth? And I always say that to buyers, if you're not sure, just ask, because we can.
I had that yesterday. I've got a client who's actually going for a property and he asked me exactly that. The property's not with us, it's with another agent. And I said, look, I feel that, it's sitting around that. And he's like, yeah, me too. But again, that guide is definitely, was about $500,000 under where it should be. I had a vendor actually who reached out to me a little while ago, and she'd interviewed 3 agents, and the strategy of one of the agents that she had interviewed was, she repeated this to me, we're going to get the guide down really, really low. We're going to get heaps of buyers coming through the door. We're going to build that competition. And I was like, that's just disgraceful. It's disgraceful. And not only that, but like, how are you even getting away with it? So, it's only a matter of time until they get caught. Seriously, it is, and it's agents like that actually give the industry a really, really bad name. And why would you want to? Listen, I had a property that I was selling, 20 Collins Street in North Narrabeen, real gold oldie. Sometimes they can be tricky to price up because you don't know how much of an impact, dilapidated house like that is going to have in a really phenomenal area. It was just one street back from the beach. And, I had people calling up for the guides. We were giving them the guides. We were guiding 2.55 to 2.65. We ended up exchanging it for 2.6. But some of those buyers were saying, oh, that can't be a realistic guide. And I was like, well, it is. We're basing that on all the feedback from the buyers that are coming through the opens. You
Yeah,
know,
that's right.
we've got to hear what you guys are saying. You are the market. Can we control what a property may sell for, private treaty or at auction? No, we cannot. But those opinions of value, they must be accurate. They must
Yeah,
be moved accordingly. They must
that's
be
right.
moved accordingly.
Yeah, and quite often you see within the first week or two, it does get adjusted online if the feedback is different to what the estimated selling price was from behind the computer. You got to remember the price guide's set from behind the computer, not in front of buyers. So definitely a controversial topic. Price guide or price lies. Anything else to add, Lise?
No, just that it's not clever marketing. You know, it's literally just a short-term tactic dressed up as a strategy. That's the bottom line, isn't it? You know, and it will come back to bite you as a real estate agent. As I said, the vast majority of agents do the right thing. It's the serial underquoters that are breaking people's hearts. And at the end of the day, we are, you know, you not we, because we're doing the right thing, but you are playing with people's emotions. That is it at the end of the day, you know, and I can't imagine there'd be any commission in the world that would be that important. But, you know, you are breaking people's hearts. We're very keen to hear from you guys as well. This has been a very popular segment, this one. We're very keen to hear from you guys. If you have had this experience in the past, we'd love to hear from you, and certainly any questions that you want us to address as well. But, you know, trust is harder to build than hype, and it's much, much easier to lose.
There you go. Well, thanks for tuning in. Any other topics
There we
you want
go.
us to cover, give us a comment as well. It's a live show.
Price guides,
anytime.
price lies. Have a great day, Billy.
See ya. You too.